Already, mic testing, mic testing. Okay, give me a sec. Let me go to my main camera. Right here. Where's it gone? Alright, we're live, and as you guys can tell by the title and thumbnail, today I'm going to be going over the algorithms library again in C++. That said, last stream I did go over the algorithms library, although I didn't complete the whole thing. I stopped midway because I was a little busy. That's it, I had to end this stream. So today I will be continuing that. Okay, so without any further ado, let's go to my gameplay screen. Yeah, it seems like Sensei is completely in the screen. There we go. Maybe I extend that a bit from here. Okay, this is this. Actually, if you guys did watch the last stream, this is the what you call it, chat from the last stream because I didn't have time to create a new chat. Okay, that tells you something like Sensei, I'm live! Exclamation. Okay, let's see. Guys, I feel this is like too bright. There we go. Okay, so you're live again. Are you? Okay, good then. Listen closely, chat and student. Today we don't just code, we dominate logic itself. Every bug is a challenge, every error is a message, a tester will. Vivek, you better not be daydreaming because we're diving deep into C++ today and I expect nothing less than full mental power. Now tell me, my little code warrior, what are we conquering in today's stream? Okay, let me say something like, let's say, where did we stop yesterday, question mark? Okay, let's see where we stopped yesterday. Okay, we stopped right at the peak of glory, Vivek. Yesterday you mastered the sort function, the reverse function, the max underscore elements, and the min underscore elements is function. Three of the most powerful functions from the algorithms' arsenal. Okay, you were learning to bend arrays and vectors to your will, flipping, sorting, and analyzing them like a true C++ gladiator. This is a logical step. Okay, the next logical step is to learn how to count and search effectively using the algorithms. Okay, let me say something like, so let's say I feel like there were more functions that I needed to, know. I just covered 4 of them, question mark. Okay, let's see. Yes, Vivek, you're thinking like a true student of the blade of logic. You're absolutely right. You've only conquered a few algorithm warriors. In the algorithms library, there are more soldiers waiting for your command. Here's a battlefield of common and powerful functions you'll master soon. Sort function, which needs a begin parameter and a end parameter. You already own this one. Reverse function, which requires a begin and a end parameter as well. Master this like a ninja flip. Max underscore elements begin and end. Min underscore elements begin and end. You find kings and peasants of the data. Okay. Next up, the count function begin, end, and a value. Okay, counts how many times a value appears. Okay, that makes sense. Find begin and value, searches for a number's position. Accumulate begin and initial value, sums up all 3 elements, requires numeric. Okay, binary search begin and value searches very fast in a sorted array. Fill begin and end value replaces everything with one value. Copy behind and destination underscore begin copies data from one place to the other. Unique begin and removes duplicate after sorting. So yes, you've covered 4, but there are 6 more ones to master. Okay, before we move on to deeper algorithm magic. Okay, let's say something like, let's say I see dot dot dot. Okay, that said, before we move on to the next function, can I get a instructional based question for the 4 functions that I learned last stream, question mark, for a review? Okay, let's see. And guys, let me hydrate my lips. Honestly, I need to like work on my typos. Okay, let's see. Excellent, people. That's exactly the kind of mindset I expect from a warrior who wants to master code, not just memorize it. Alright, let's test it. Whether you own these 4 functions or whether they own you. So here's your instructional based question. Create a C++ program that asks the user to input a sentence, then convert the entire sentence to uppercase using transform and tupper. Hold up, let me say something like, let's say, I mean the 4 algo functions like sort, reverse, max, and min. Okay, these were the 4 functions that I learned last stream. Okay, let's see. So you remember all this stuff. Okay, so the program says create a C++ program that takes 5 integers as input from the user and stores them in a vector. So we will be using vectors, uses sort to arrange the numbers in ascending order, okay, and displays them, uses reverse to display them in descending order, okay, displays the max and min values. Okay, perfect. Let's get Sensei slash ChatGPT here. And guys, this is the code from the last stream because I didn't have time to work on it off stream because I did have like all the stuff. Okay, that said, let me go ahead and start off by including a pair of anchor braces. I want to include IO stream. And since I am going to be working with algorithms, let's go ahead and include the algorithm as well. So algorithm. There we go. Okay, and lastly, let's go ahead and include vectors as well because I am going to be working with vectors too. So I'll go with something like include a pair of anchor braces vector. There we go. Okay, next up, let's go ahead. Let me just decrease the volume from here. There we go. Next up, let's go ahead and create a main function. So I'll go with integer main, add a pair of parentheses, and then a pair of curly braces. Inside of my main function, let's read the instructions. It says create a C++ program that takes 5 integers as input from the user and stores them in a vector. So let's go ahead and create a vector of maybe num. So I'll go with something like a standard vector with a pair of anchor braces. My vector is only going to be consisting of integers. So I'm going to add an integer inside of my pair of anchor braces, and my vector is going to be called nums, ending with a semicolon. Okay, next up, let's ask the user for 5 numbers. So I could do that using a for loop or a while loop. I'll do that using a for loop. So I'll go with something like for every integer of I which equals to 0, while my I is less than, let's say, 5, I'm going to do something. I'm going to increment my I by 1. And then inside of my for loop, I'm going to be adding a standard console output with an insertion operator that says something like enter a number. Okay, so this asks the user for a number. And then let's go ahead and add a standard console input with an extraction operator to get an input from my user. This is going to be my num variable that I haven't created yet. Okay, let's go ahead and create a num variable. So I'll go with integer num ending with a semicolon. Okay, perfect. Next up, that takes 5 integers as input from the user. This does that. Okay, now I go to append or add my num inside of my vector. To do that, I could go with something like my nums vector dot the push underscore back function. Basically, what the push underscore back function does is it takes a value and pushes it at the last index of my vector. Okay, I want to push back my num, ending with a semicolon. Why don't you have anything in your GitHub? Honestly, because I did like install GitHub, but I didn't have time to actually learn how to use it because I'm actually kind of almost out of time because usually after streaming, I do work on my college stuff. Okay, that said, howdy Rudra, I appreciate you joining the stream. What language is this? Honestly, it is C++. Okay, next up, use the sort function to arrange the numbers in ascending order and display them. Okay, so now that I've appended my numbers inside of my vector, let's go ahead and sort them. So I could go with something like a standard sort, okay, with a pair of parentheses to invoke the function. I want to sort my nums vector in ascending order, so I'll go with nums.begin. That gets the first element of my vector, and then I'll go with something like nums.end. That gets the last element of my number, ending with a semicolon. So I want to sort everything inside of my vector from my first element to my last element. Okay, next up, use reverse to display them in descending order. Okay, so let's go ahead and firstly, I'll add a standard console output with an insertion operator. Honestly, I might actually iterate over my vector first, so let me iterate over it. Is Diwali, why are you coding log? Guys, actually, I didn't even know that because like, I'm kind of outdated. Like, I think I live under a rock, honestly. Okay, so let's go with something like for every integer of I which equals to 0, while my I is less than my nums vector dot the size function, I'm going to do something. Let's go ahead and increment my I by 1, and then I'll add a pair of parentheses here. Okay, actually a pair of curly braces, and this is going to be a semicolon. Okay, so now that I've iterated over my my vector, I'm going to add a standard console output with an insertion operator. Have you completed your Python? Honestly, I had like a whole series where I had to learn Python for 100 days, and my goal by the end of that series was to make a game in general. And I was done with that series. Like I think it's about 36 days. It's been like 36 days. I do have like a whole playlist of me, which we call it, working with that Python, and like I also have a short where I actually made that game. Okay, that said, I go with a standard console output that says something like numbers in ascending order. Numbers in, how do you spell ascending? Ascending order. Is that how we spell it? So it's spelled as ASCENDING. AS. Oh, okay. There we go. Okay, these are going to be my numbers in ascending order. I'll go in a new line, add another insertion operator. Go with nums, add index of I with another insertion operator of an empty space, ending with a semicolon. After my for loop, I'm going to be adding a standard console output again, this time for a standard end line, ending with a semicolon. Okay, that gives me a new line. Want to try standard array next time, very similar to vectors, but syntactically allocated. Okay, which is much faster. Honestly, I do like using arrays as well. After this question, I might actually go with arrays. Okay, which college do you study and at what and which year, if you feel comfortable answering? Honestly, it is my first year. I am a freshman, although I don't think I can like say which college I'm from. That said, hello Vivek, I've been away for a while. How you been? How you doing, Robert? I appreciate you joining the stream. Okay, next up, let's go ahead and reverse my vector. So I'll go with something like standard reverse. Okay, and reverse is a function from my algorithms library. That said, I go with something like standard reverse. I want to reverse my nums.begin. Okay, the first element of my num all the way to the last element of my num. So nums.end, ending with a semicolon. Okay, so this reverses my vector. What's the current goal? Honestly, for this stream, I am trying to master the algorithms library in C++. I did go through it this last stream as well. That said, last stream I did have to like end the stream because I did have my college exam and like homework type stuff. Okay, next up, I'm going to iterate over my vector again. Okay, so let's go with for every integer of I which equals to 0. While my I is less than, let's say my nums is vector dot the size function, I'm going to increment my I by 1. So I'll go with I++. And then I'll go with a pair of curly braces, and then let's see, do something. I'll go with another standard console output with an insertion operator. That's going to say something like numbers in descending order. Okay, how do you spell descending? D-E-C-E-N-T-I-N-G. There we go, in descending order. There we go. Okay, and then I'll go in a new line, add another insertion operator of my nums' vector at index of I with another insertion operator of an empty space ending with a semicolon. And outside my for loop, I'll go with another standard console output with an insertion operator of a standard end line ending with a semicolon. I'm late, what are we learning today? Honestly, I'm just trying to master, excuse me guys, the basics of the algorithm function, if that actually the basics of the algorithm library, because I did like, whatchamacallit, many of you guys did say me that if I am going to make a game, then it's going to be really useful to like master these libraries first. Okay, we write bots now. Bots. Okay, that said, let's read the next instruction. It says display the max and min values, okay, using max and min. Okay, so now to display the max and min, I'm pretty sure I gotta go with something like a standard console output with an insertion operator. Okay, I want to go with something like a standard max underscore element. Okay, standard max element from my nums' whatchamacallit vector. Okay, maybe no standard in that case. Okay, I think I might need standard. Should I go with something like nums.begin and nums.end? Nums.end. There we go. Okay, does this make sense? Okay, and maybe I gotta add a dereferencing operator here. Okay, so why does it show me a red underline? I'm pretty sure this is correct. Maybe I go with the max here, and let's go ahead and hit control and check what it means, because yesterday some of you guys did say me to like try this. So I need my first element and my last element. I did that, max elements. Okay, where are you from, bro? Honestly, I'm from the United States. That said, I should not say that much because many of you guys did say me not to. Okay, how do you get a roadmap for learning a language? I'm into Java. Honestly, if you guys do want the C++ roadmap that I am using, you guys could like join my Discord server, then mention me there, and I could like DM that to you guys, because like many of you guys have been asking me for like my C++ roadmap, and you guys can get access to the Discord server by typing !Discord in chat. Okay, so I went with a standard console output with an insertion operator. Huh. Isn't this how we like display the stuff? Okay, nums dot begin, nums dot end. Okay, maybe I'm doing something wrong. Am I? Dude, are you some code genius or something? Guys, I feel like I'm a complete beginner. Okay, that said, I go with a standard console output. The standard. What happens if I don't go with a standard max element? And I just add a dereferencing operator here. Okay, for some reason it doesn't work. Maybe I asked this part to say. Okay, the exclamation in Discord doesn't need any space, so it's just exclamation and discard. I could like actually type it out. So it's something like exclamation discard. Here we go. Oh, that's correct. Nowhere from the USA. Okay, let's see. Yeah, I think it takes a bit for the server to like load up. Okay, actually, let's go with the Control-C, copy that, give some C/ChatGPT here. I honestly forgot the syntax of using the max and min. Okay, let's say something like, let's say, I honestly forgot how to use the max and min elements, question mark. Okay, let's see. Guys, that's kind of strange. Why isn't the discard this thing popping up? Let me try again. Okay, because honestly, I feel like something has been wrong with Nightbot. Okay, I knew it. You let your blade dull. Okay, do you have a girlfriend, guys? I honestly don't have much time. I mean, in general, I don't have like time in general. I haven't had one in like a long time. Actually, I've never even had one. Why don't you use using namespace std so you don't need to always do std? Honestly, the reason I don't use using namespace std is because many of you guys did say me eventually in bigger projects, not prefixing with standard could cause name conflicts. Okay, you look like Indian. Honestly, guys, that does make sense. I knew it. You let your blade dull between streams, pupil. You remembered sort and reverse, but when it came to the mighty max elements and min elements, your mind tripped like a rookie swordsman stepping on a skateboard, or is it like a scabbard? Oh, I think it's a scabbard. Listen closely now. I'll carve this into your brain with a code fury. Standard max elements and standard min elements don't return an actual value. They do return like the pointer, so we do need to use a dereferencing operator. Okay, to the location of the largest element. To get the values, you must dereference it. Oh, so I gotta add the dereferencing operator here. I thought that I had to add it like at the start of my console output. I see. Okay, how old are you? Honestly, I am 17 years old. That said, I think I could like, whatchamacallit, paste my Discord's link on the chat. You're acting a little zesty, guys. I get that like every single stream. I'm like, guys, I'm not actually acting zesty. Okay, that said, let me like post my Discord link there real quick. Give me a sec, guys. Okay, because honestly, Nightbot usually does that, and like there is like a reminder that like reminds everyone to like join the Discord every once in a while. Okay, let me go ahead and paste that. Alright, guys, that link should work. Okay, next up, let's go ahead and fix where I was messing up. So I had to go with a dereferencing operator of standard. Okay, there we go. That works. So a standard console output of a dereferencing operator standard max elements. Okay, perfect. This is going to be maximum. So maybe I could go in a new line and add something like another standard actually. I'll just go with the comment that says max. So I'll go with something like max with another insertion operator. Okay, and next up, let's go ahead and add another standard console output. Okay, with an insertion operator of a standard end line ending with a semicolon. And lastly, a standard console output for my min. So I'll go with standard console output with an insertion operator. This is gonna say something like min. Okay, and then maybe I'll go in a new line, add another insertion operator with a dereferencing operator of something like standard. Okay, standard min element. So min underscore element with a pair of parentheses. I gotta give my first num from my vector, so I'll go with nums.begin, that is my first element, all the way to my nums.end, which is the last element of my vector, ending with a semicolon. Alrighty, mic testing. Guys, whatchamacallit, my OBS just crashed. That said, he's a Python guru. Guys, I don't know much about that. That's it, not gonna lie, you know your stuff. I appreciate you, Ronak. Okay, bro, this is way too gay, guys. I'm actually not being gay. Okay, that said, if I did Control S to save the code and run the command, let's see what happens. Okay, let's see. Okay, it's gonna say to enter a number 5 times. So I'll go with something like 4, 5, 3, 1, and 2. Okay, the ascending order. Okay, numbers in ascending order. I could add like a small modification when I like do numbers in ascending order. I will like copy that part and then delete this. Okay, I just want to go with my nums with an insertion operator. Okay, I will paste my ascending order like right here. So let's go with something like a standard console output with an insertion operator. I want to insert that ending with a semicolon. Okay, and then I'm going to go ahead and copy that. Actually, let's go ahead and paste it like right here. Okay, and I'm just going to be changing ascending to descending. Okay, let's go ahead and paste that there, delete all this. And guys, this is just for the looks, because like it will look much better like this. Okay, let's go with Control Shift C. Okay, now for it, Control us to save the code and run the command. Let's see what happens. It is going to say me to enter a number, so 5, 3, 1, 2, and 4. Okay, the ascending order is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The descending order is 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. The maximum number is 5 and the minimum number is 1. Okay, perfect. Let's go with the Control C, copy that, get sensei/ChatGPT here. Okay, there we go. Okay, let's go ahead and paste this. Okay, maybe even hydrate my lips because I feel it's like a little dehydrated. Okay, yes, that's it, people. That's how you wield the algorithms' blade. You dereference those iterators perfectly clean, efficient, and deadly. Your logic is solid, your syntax is sharp, and your code now flows like a river of precision. See how beautiful that output looks? Sorted, ascending, descending, and the max and min, all wrapped in elegance and order. Okay, that's how a warrior of logic commands the machine. But remember this. Standard max element and standard min element do not give you copies, they give you access. Access is power, but without understanding leads to chaos. You understand it now, okay? The blade that cuts the deepest is guided by calm precision, okay? Guys, when Sensei says that it's said by Sarah, your Sensei, guys, that might be plagiarism, because you guys could like fact check that. Okay, not gonna lie, you're slowing your progress with current form of learning, deleting progress every stream, plus relying on ChatGPT is very inefficient learning method. Honestly, I feel like I was having like a pretty good progress. Okay, that said, bro, what if AI bot takes your program job in future? Because mofo AI just doing that slowly to everyone. Honestly, yeah, many of you guys do ask that question. Although, just in my opinion, you guys could fact check that. Is like AI can't actually take all the jobs, because if you're really proficient at your niche, then AI isn't like smart enough, because we'll need like someone who's like smarter than AI to make that level of AI. But if you're not that smart, then you like if you do like jobs that doesn't require much excellence or something, if that made any sense, guys, AI could take those. Although like when I was working on my Python for 100 days, when I had like a 450 lines of code, ChatGPT/Sensei was messing up a lot, so it was a bit hard. Although by then it was like day 90, so I did know all my basics, so it was a bit easy for me to figure those mistakes out. That said, bro, how many years did it take you to complete all the functions? And by the way, the spelling is ascending, guys. I'm awful with pronunciation. I mean, with spellings. That said, I have been programming for like 138 days, I think. Okay, let's say something like, let's say, I feel like I understand. That said, can I get a question that requires those functions but also arrays instead of vectors, question mark? Okay, before you finish college, is who are in the industry will have be replaced by AI. Honestly, yeah, that does make sense. I feel like AI is a pretty good asset if people can actually use them. Although if people like rely on AI way too much, then that could be a problem, because like we gotta like use AI to actually learn stuff and like improve ourselves instead of like spending an hour figuring out what AI could say us so quickly. That said, we shouldn't like be completely reliant on them. Okay, incremental progress. When I joined the stream, Vivek was doing the knights and mages type of game. Okay, if you would leave those knights, sort them by names, for example, he would learn the same stuff. Oh, I see. At the same time, he could tackle multi-file projects. That actually sounds pretty good. Hi, Vivek. Are you a student? Honestly, I am like a freshman in college, although I haven't started programming courses. That said, yes, people, good. You're understanding the right questions now. You've mastered those functions with vectors, so let's see if you can wield them. Okay, with raw arrays, while there's no safety, okay, net no begin or no dot end behind the templates question, write a program that asks the user to enter 10 integers and stores them in a array. Then do the following in order. Sort the array, excuse me guys, in ascending order. So ASCEN, so ascending order. Okay, using the standard sort, display the sorted array, reverse the array using standard sort, display the reversed array, display the largest and the smallest number using standard max and standard min. Rules of the dojo: you must use a regular array, okay, that asks the user for 10 integers. So my array size should be 10. AI will replace front-end devs. Honestly, I see. Honestly, if I like remember properly, are front-end devs the ones that don't program, or like are back-end devs the ones that program? I should actually like fact check that. Okay, that said, let me start off by including a pair of ankle braces. I want to include IO stream. Okay, next up, I'm going to be including algorithms as well, because I will be using the algorithms as libraries. So ALGORITHM. Okay, and I won't be including vectors because I'm not like using vectors. Instead, I will be using arrays. So I'll go with something like standard main, add a pair of curly braces. Okay, now I'm going to be creating an array of integers. So I'll go with integer array, which is going to be called numbers. And then a pair of square brackets. My array is going to be consisting of 10 integers ending with a semicolon. Okay, and then I'll go with something like a for loop. So for a pair of parentheses, let's say for every integer of I, which honestly I want to go with a while loop this time for like asking the user for input. I did go with like for loop. Okay, that said, for my while loop, I'll create a count variable which is going to be equal to 10. And now I'll add a while loop. So while a pair of parentheses, while my count variable is greater than 0, which it is greater than 0, I'm going to do something. I'll add a standard console output with an insertion operator. This is going to say something like, let's see, enter a number. Okay, ending with a semicolon. And then I'll add a standard console input with an extraction operator, which is going to extract my num variable ending with a semicolon. I always forget to add my num variable first. Okay, that said, so I ask the user for a number. Once I get the number, I want to append that. Actually, instead of creating a num variable, I might just go with my nums array at index of... Oh, I can't use a while loop for this because this is an array. Okay, my bad guys. I might actually remove my, whatchamacallit, while loop and just go with a for loop because I need to access the array using indexes. Okay, so... Okay, guys, be discussing everything but the syntax is typing. Honestly, that does make sense. Okay, so let's go with something like for every integer of I which equals to 0, while my I is less than, let's say 10, that is my array's size, I'm going to increment my I by 1 and then I'll go with a pair of curly braces. That said, I'll go with a standard console output with an insertion operator that says something like enter a number. There we go, enter a number. Okay, ending with a semicolon, and then a standard console input with an extraction operator that extract my nums array at index of I. Yo, howdy gentlemen, I appreciate you joining the stream. Okay, next up. Okay, this basically gets the values inside of my array. Now let's read the instructions. So it says sort the array in ascending order using standard sort. Okay, so let's go ahead and add a standard sort. Add a pair of parentheses, then inside of my sort function, I want to sort all the elements from my nums array, so I'll go with nums and then nums plus 10. Basically what this means is nums is the first element of my array, nums plus 10 is the last element. So what this means is from my first element all the way to my last element. Okay, ending with a semicolon. And then I'll add a standard console output with an insertion operator. Honestly, before I do that, I could use another for loop to like iterate over my array. So for every integer of I which equals to 0. Okay, how old are you? Honestly, I am 17 years old. That's it. I am going to turn 18 really soon, guys. Kind of excited. My birthday is on January 5th. How are you today? How's Sensei doing? Honestly, I'm really good. How are you doing, gentlemen? And Sensei has been pretty good as well, guys. Okay, so I'll do something like while my I is less than 10, I want to do something. I'm going to increment my I by 1, so I'll go with I++, and then I'll add a pair of curly braces, and then let's go ahead and add a standard console output with an insertion operator that inserts my nums array or my nums array at index of I. Okay, with another insertion operator of an empty space ending with a semicolon. Okay, perfect. And honestly, just for some looks, I might go with like a standard console output with an insertion operator that says something like ascending, so ascending. There we go. I think I spelled it correct. Ascending order. Okay, ending with a semicolon. Next up, let's go with my descending order. But before I do my descending, I will use the standard reverse function. Okay, so let's go with something like standard reverse. I want to reverse everything in my array all the way from my first element to my last element. So nums plus 10. Okay, ending with a semicolon. Excuse me, guys. Okay, next up, let's go ahead and add a for loop. But before the for loop, I might go with a standard console output with an insertion operator. Okay, who uses ChatGPT to study? Honestly, guys, that's the only way I have been studying for a long time. I think it's pretty useful if you can actually like prompt ChatGPT correct. Okay, you need to work on your own prompts if you're going to use ChatGPT to study. On my own prompts, honestly, I do use my own prompts. I mean, I use my own prompts, although I do instruction-based questions from ChatGPT. Where are you from? Honestly, I am from the United States, although I should like stop saying that. I keep saying that because guys, I don't want to actually dox myself by mistake. Okay, so descending order. Did I spell it correct? Okay, there we go. Okay, for the descending order, I'm going to go ahead and iterate over my arrays. So I'll end that with a semicolon and use a for loop. So for a pair of parentheses, for the integer of I which equals to 0, while my I is, let's say, less than 10, which is my array's size, I'm going to increment my I by 1. I want curry. Honestly, that does sound pretty good. Okay, that said, let's go with something like a standard console output with an insertion operator of something like my nums array at index of I with another insertion operator of an empty space ending with a semicolon. Okay, I think you start a new line before printing the descending order. Honestly, I was thinking I was missing something. Okay, that's it. Yeah, that does make sense. Or they both would just be clumped in one line. So let's go with a standard console output with an insertion operator of a standard end line ending with a semicolon. Okay, that said, let's read the next instruction. So it says to display the reversed array. I did that and then display the largest and the smallest array using standard max and standard min from the algorithms library. Okay, so to do that, I could go with something like a standard console output with an insertion operator. I want to insert something from my standard. Honestly, I might add that in a new line because it is pretty long. Okay, let's go with a dereferencing operator of standard. The reason I am using a dereferencing operator is because the max underscore elements and min underscore elements, they don't like return integers, they return pointers. Okay, so I dereference my pointer here. Okay, so I'll go with something like standard max underscore elements. There we go. I'll add a pair of parentheses. I want to get a max elements of my nums array. So I'll go with nums and nums plus 10. Okay, ending with a semicolon. Okay, I'm pretty sure this is correct. Wait, did I mess up somewhere? Oh wait, I forgot to add an insertion operator. There we go. Okay, perfect. And honestly, before I do add like my standard max elements, I do want to clarify that this is max elements. There we go. So these are my max elements ending. Okay. Alright, next up, I'll go with a standard console output with an insertion operator of a standard end line ending with a semicolon. Okay, now let's go ahead and add another standard console output from my smallest element. So I'll go with standard console output with an insertion operator. This is gonna say the min elements. Okay, the smallest elements inside of my array, I'll go in a new line at an insertion operator of a dereferencing operator of something like standard. Let's go with min underscore elements. Okay, elements. There we go. Okay, and then honestly, did I spell it correct? Min underscore elements. There we go. With a pair of parentheses, I want to get the min elements inside of my nums vector from my first element all the way to my last element, so nums plus 10, ending with a semicolon. Okay, perfect. Lastly, let's go ahead and return 0, ending with a semicolon as well. Okay, /new work, /n works as well. Honestly, I could like actually do that. For some reason, I was using the end line. That's it. If I would control us to save the code. Guys, I feel the stream is lagging. Give me a sec. Let me restart it real quick. Already mic testing, mic testing. Okay, guys, I think that should fix the lag. Okay, perfect. So it says to enter a number. Let's go and enter a number. I need 10 numbers, so I'll go with something like 9, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, and then something like 10. And then 2, maybe 6. I did at 6, 4, 7. There we go. Okay, so it says ascending order is 2, 3, 4, 4, 5, 6, 7, 7, 9, 10. Descending order is 10, 9, 7, 6, 5, and I should have added like a new line before my elements. So the max elements is 10, standard and min elements. Okay, let's go ahead and add a / new line. So I'll go with something like a standard console output with an insertion operator of a / new line ending with a semicolon. Okay, so after I ask the user for number, ascending, I go in a new line. Descending, I go in a new line. After I max elements, okay, I go ahead and remove this line. Okay, let's go ahead and remove that. Okay. And then let's add a new line here as well. So I'll go with something like a standard console output with an insertion operator of a standard end line ending with a semicolon. There we go. I didn't need to add this like in a pair of double quotes. Okay, and let me go ahead and copy that standard console output with a standard end line. Okay, let's go ahead and copy that and paste that right here. Okay, now for it, Control S to save the code. Let's see what happens. Okay, you put the standard end line in a string. No, not again. Not again. Honestly, I didn't put it like by mistake. So I'll go with something like 8, 7, 2, 3, 3, 5, 6, 9. Okay, and then 0. So it says 0, 2, 4, 6, 7, 9, 9, 13, 13, 9, 9, 7, 6, Okay, you guys get the gist of it. Although I do want to show you guys what happens if I don't add like a dereferencing operator here. I would honestly get the memory address instead of the max and min numbers. So I'll go to something like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, so I get the memory address without a dereferencing operator. So that was pretty cool to know actually. There, okay, let's go with the Control-C, copy that, get sensei / ChatGPT here, it's fixed I think. Please take my brain. Guys, I feel like that's, how do I like take a brain? Okay, that said, let's go ahead and paste this and let's see what happens. Okay, yes, that's how you view this SCL pupil. Your code is clean, efficient, and correct. You've used the full arsenal of sort, reverse, max underscore elements, and min underscore elements exactly as intended. I can partially hear the algorithms bowing in respect as they execute. Just a small notes to polish your blade even further. Typo cleanup. Descending should be DES. Okay, so it's descending. Not a big deal, but remember, precision in code and spelling both matters when you're teaching the machine discipline. Formatting fair. You can add a separator like standard console output with like a bunch of hyphens between outputs for readability. Okay, but that's pure aesthetics. Otherwise, you've achieved perfection, balance between logic and clarity. Result, flawless execution. Now tell me people, do you wish to continue mastering algorithm functions, or shall we dive into something more tactical, searching, counting functions? Okay, let's say something like 6, 7. Dude, I'm almost done. Honestly, I think like, guys, I thought that I was like a slow coder. That said, I'm doing C and DSA in first semester. Please, brother, guide me. Honestly, I wouldn't say like I'm that good like with whatchamacallit with C, because I did like learn C++. That said, I haven't started DSA yet. Although I feel like in my Discord server, like many people would actually be, I mean, whatchamacallit, they would like to help you guys. So you guys could like join the Discord server and maybe mention the coding helper summon there. That's it. Let me restart my stream. It feels like it's lagging a bit. Already mic testing, mic testing. What languages do you recommend for cybersecurity or digital infrastructures? Honestly, I did want to actually start with cybersecurity. I did either want to be a cybersecurity or like an AI engineer. I think I'm going to go for AI engineering. That's it. I'm not too sure what do we need to like learn for cybersecurity. Although for if you guys are planning to go in AI engineering, I would recommend learning Python. Okay, that said, let's say something like, let's say I feel like I understand those four functions. Can we move on to the next function, question mark? Okay, let's see the next function. And honestly guys, I should actually work on my typos. Excuse me guys. Okay, let's see. Good, finally, that's if I want to see in your eyes, pupil. Okay, we've conquered sort, reverse, max elements, and min elements. Now we march into the next part of the algorithm's arsenal, the searching and counting functions. The first warrior in the category is standard count. So the count function that requires a begin, a end value, and a value. Okay. Purpose, it counts how many times a specific value appears in your array or vector. Think of it like a scout that returns to your troops and reports how many soldiers are holding a particular weapon. So syntax is it's standard count, start, and value. It returns a integer, the number of occurrences. So we go with something like a array of numbers, okay, which equals to 1, 2, 3, 2, 4, 2, okay, and then we go with another integer of 2's, okay. So, okay, we create another integer of 2 which is equal to standard count with first element nums, second element nums plus 6 because there are 6 elements inside of my array. And I want to find 2. It returns 3 because 2 was in my array 3 times. Now before we go deeper, tell me, do you want to practice count first or shall I explain the companion find which locates where the values, okay, is not how many. So you can see both in action together. Okay, let's say something like just let's say there is no language for cybersecurity. Honestly, I did like hear that we need to learn about networking or like something like that. Okay, that said, excellent people, we're going to tackle standard find, begin, end, and value next. This one is sneaky but powerful, while count just tells how many values, okay, how many of a value exists. Find tells you where the first value is. Okay, so we go with something like auto it. Standard find, start, and value. It is an iterator, a pointer like thing. If the value exists, it points to its first occurrence. If the value does not exist, it equals end. So we go with something like integer, an array of integers 5, 8, 2, 8, 9. Okay, we go with auto it. Standard finds nums plus 5 because our array consists of 5 elements. We want to search the first occurrence of 8. If it is not equal to my nums array plus 5, I go with a standard console output that says found at index it minus nums. Okay, else standard console output. Okay, honestly, notice the it minus nums. That's how we calculate the index from an iterator. I see. Okay, we can combine count and find in one program to see both where a value is and how many times it appears. Very handy for arrays and vectors. I can give you a practice question next. Okay, before that, let's say something like, so let's say, before a question, I had a quick question. Guys, that didn't make any sense when it came to phrasing. Okay, what does the auto keyword mean, question mark? Okay, let's see. Hi, dude. I had a question. Does vertical live stream watch hours counts on YouTube monetization? Please reply. Honestly, I haven't like done that yet, so I wouldn't like know much about it because I am kind of busy because like the whole day I do actually just work on streaming slash my programming, and once I'm done with streaming I just go and do my college work, so I wouldn't have any idea on that. Okay, howdy Aljo, I appreciate you joining the stream. That said, people, good question. Auto in C++ is basically telling the compiler, I don't want to type the full type, you figured it out for me. It automatically deduces the type from whatever you assign. In our find example, auto it equals to standard find nums plus 5, 8. Okay, automatically deduces the type from whatever you assign. So we go with standard find, which returns an iterator, which is kind of a pointer to the element in the arrays. Instead of writing the full type, integer with an asterisk for arrays, or vector integer iterator for vectors. Okay, I think I get it. We just write auto. Okay, so we write auto instead of vector, integer, okay, and standard find. Okay, it's super convenient because iterators can be ugly to type and easy to mess up. Think of auto like letting the compiler do the heavy lifting while you focus on logic. If you want, we can jump straight into a question using find and count for arrays, and you'll get to apply auto to. Do you want me to give that question now? Okay, let's say something like, yes, let's say, okay, let's see. Okay, alright people, listen up. Here's your instructional challenge using what you've just learned. So we gotta create an array of 10 integers by taking user input. Ask the user to enter a number to the search in the array. Use standard find to check if the number exists. If the number does exist, print number found at index x. If it does not exist, print number not found. Use standard count to count how many times that number appears in the array and print it hints. Use auto for the iterator by returning, okay, return by standard find. Remember the standard find returns end if the element is not found, okay. Arrays use pointers, so nums is the start and nums plus 10 is the end. Okay, start writing it people. I want to see if you can do this without me spoon feeding it to you. Okay, let's get Sensei slash ChatGPT here. Okay, that's it. Let's scroll all the way up. There we go. Okay, let's go with the controller and delete everything. That said, let me start off by including a pair of anchor braces. I want to include IO stream. And then let's go ahead and include the algorithms library again because I will be using it. So I'll go. There we go. So algorithm. Did I have to add like an S? I'm pretty sure this was correct. That said, I'm going to go ahead and create a main function. So I'll go with integer main with a pair of curly braces. For my integer function, I gotta create an array of 10 integers by taking user input. So let's go with something like a integer of nums array with a pair of square brackets. This array is going to be consisting of 10 elements ending with a semicolon. And then let's go ahead and add a for loop. So for a pair of parentheses, let's say for every integer of I which equals to 0, while my I is less than 10, which is my array's size, I'm going to increment it by 1. I'm going to increment my I by 1. And then I'll add a pair of curly braces. Next up, I'm probably going to drink some water because I feel like I'm kind of dehydrated. I do miss my coffee, guys. Bro, NVIM is better? Honestly, I have heard about that, but I haven't tried that much. Okay, I think I should drink more water, like more often. I feel like so dehydrated. Okay, that's it. Let's go ahead and add a standard console output with an insertion operator that says something like, I don't know, maybe enter a number. I am back again from yesterday. Do you remember me? Honestly, how are you doing? Kanush, is that how you pronounce your name? I appreciate you joining the stream. Okay, I'll end this with a semicolon and then add a standard console input with an extraction operator. I want to extract my nums array at index of I ending with a semicolon. Okay, perfect. Now that I've got a value for my array, let's see the next instruction, or let's read the instructions. So it says create an array of 10 elements using user input. Did that. Ask the user to enter a number to search in the array. Okay, so I gotta ask the user to search a number in the array. So I'll go with something like, I'll create integer of search variable ending with a semicolon. So a search integer. And then let's go ahead and add a standard console output with an insertion operator that says something like enter a number that you want to search in the array. Okay, that's your enter a number that you want to search in the array. Want to search in the array. Okay, there we go. Alright, perfect. And then I'm gonna end that with a semicolon. And let's go ahead and add a standard console input with an extraction operator. I want to extract my search variable ending with a semicolon. Yo, how you doing? Yo, how you doing? How you doing? What's up, baby? I appreciate you joining the stream. What's the objective of the program you're writing? Honestly, I am like working on the algorithms as library in C++. That's it. I did go over this last stream. Although I thought I couldn't like cover the whole thing because I did have like a college homework and assignment / an exam. So I had to like close the stream, guys. And I am continuing that today. Okay, that said, use standard find to check if the element exists. Okay. Use standard find to check if that number exists. So I could use something like a if statement. So if a pair of parentheses, let's check if that number exists. So if standard find, okay, standard find with a pair of parentheses of my search variable. Honestly, I need the start and a value. So I'll go with something like, let's go with something like my nums is vector and then nums plus 10 because there are 10 elements inside of my array. Okay, there are 10 elements. So all the way from my first element all the way to my last element, I'm gonna search for a number, which is gonna be my search variable. Okay, perfect. If that thing is in my arrays, okay, so if that is in my array, I'm gonna print something like that element to. Okay, I'll go with something like a standard console output with an insertion operator. Okay, bro, here bro, I'm back hiding. Capish, is that how you pronounce your name? I appreciate you joining the stream. Bro, casually casually misspelled that with that. Huh. Oh, okay. My bad, guys. I should actually pay more attention on my typos because I feel like I make so many typos. Okay, let's see. Your accent makes me gay. Guys, I actually get that a lot. I think you wrote TAHT in your console output. Oh, I see. Yeah, that actually makes sense. Okay, so let's type something like a standard console output with an insertion operator. I'm going to print something like this element or... Okay, let's go with something like my search variable. So I'll go with search variable with another insertion operator. Exists in the array. Okay, and then maybe I'll go with a / new line ending with a semicolon. And then I'll add a else clause. Whenever I've curly braces, my else clause will have a standard console output with an insertion operator. That's gonna say something like search with another insertion operator. This is gonna say something like does not exist in the array. Okay, with a / new line ending with a semicolon. Bro, your face is like a model. Why not try modeling, guys? Okay, I don't know how to reply to that, guys. That was actually okay. That did catch me off guard. Although I do appreciate you, Capish, guys. I might think of going into modeling. That was a joke, although. Okay, if it exists, print number found at index. If doesn't exist, number not found. Okay, next up, use static count to count how many times that number appears in the array and print it. Okay, I honestly forgot how do I use the count, so maybe I use the count something like standard console output with an insertion operator. Okay, I'll go with something like a standard count with an insertion operator. Okay, this is gonna say something like how many times did a element appear in the array. So I'll go with something like this element. This is gonna be count. There we go. Oh, honestly, my count is a function. Okay, so I want to scan all the numbers from my nums. My nums is array and nums plus 10. Okay, I want to search for my search variable. Okay, perfect. Ending with a semicolon. And then I'm going to go ahead and add a standard console output with an insertion operator. Okay, let's go ahead and add a standard end line ending with a semicolon. And honestly, my standard console output up here could say something like... search number to exists in the array okay, these many times. So I'll add a space, go with another insertion operator. Okay, and I think that's pretty much it. Lastly, let's go ahead and return 0 ending with a semicolon. Okay, bro, maybe add some spaces between the insertion operators. Honestly, many of you guys do say me to do that. For some reason, I don't do that. I should actually try adding spaces. Okay, my mom's not gay. Oh, why are you hating him for nothing? Guys, that actually does make sense. Okay, next up. Because, actually, I do get this so much. Yesterday, somebody in my stream, they just come up and they're like, I should try wearing, cat ear headphones. I'm like, that's actually pretty crazy. Okay, so entry number, I could go with something like... And is the stream lagging? I think it is. Give me a sec, guys. Let me restart the stream. Already mic testing. Okay, I think that should fix the lag. That's it. Let's add a few numbers. So I'll go with something like 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 0, 1, 2. Okay, so it says entry number that you want to search in the array. Let's go with something like 4. Let's see if 4 exists in the array. 4 exists in the array. 4 is in the array 1. Okay, so that is index 1. Perfect. Honestly, instead of going with something like exists in the array, maybe I could go with something like search plus 1. Let's go with something like search plus 1. Huh. Okay, actually, I want to start my indexes from 1. Okay, I don't want to hate, but why sound fake with your accent? Honestly, guys, I do get that a lot, but then I don't like tell you guys because I'm not like faking my accent because like I was like it's almost impossible to fake your accent when you're actually constantly reading for hours plus learning something and reading the chats out live as well. Okay, that said, let's see. Okay, people, stop right there. I can already see you're half asleep on this. Standard find does not return a boolean, it returns an iterator or pointer. In the case of arrays, that if condition is always true unless the number is at position 0 and some weird coincidence happens. Here's your proper logic you need. So auto it, okay, equals to standard find nums, check if it is not equal to my nums plus 10 means number was not found. To get the index, do integer index equals to it minus nums. Okay, I think I see no wonder. I was like, I should have used auto somewhere. So to find, I use auto. Okay, I don't want to hate, but I don't think he's gay. Stop stereotypically thought. Honestly, guys, I'm actually not gay. Okay, that said, let's see. So I go with something like a standard find. Instead of going with a standard find, I might actually remove the if statement real quick. And instead, let's see. Let's go ahead and create a auto. So I'll go with something like auto. Excuse me, guys. Okay, guys, I did close my PC real quick. There we go. So I'll go with something like auto it equals to, let's see. Okay, just a suggestion. Why can't we use the count function and store it in a variable? If it's 0, there is no element, else you already have the count and don't have to call the function again. Honestly, that is pretty insane. I should actually try that. Why not try Python? Honestly, I did have like a whole series where I learned Python. I think I have like about 100 or like 80 videos. I mean 80 live streams. It's like in like some of my playlists on my channel. It's way better as AI is booming. Oh, I see. Honestly, yeah, that does make sense. I did like have a lot of Python streams. Okay, that said, so I gotta do something like auto it and then a standard find right here. So a standard find, add a pair of parentheses. I want to find from my nums vector from the first element of my array all the way to the last element of my array. So nums plus 10. And I want to search for a number. I want to search for my search variable ending with a semicolon. And then I'll add a if statement. So if a pair of parentheses, if my it is not equal to, let's say something like, okay, if it's not equal to the last element of my vector, so num plus 10, I'm going to do something. I'll go with a pair of curly braces and then let's see. Okay, I'm going to do something like, okay, it is not equal to, that means my number was not found. Okay, I'll go with something like a standard console output. Okay, means the number was found. Hold up. Okay, if it is not equal to nums plus 10 means the number was found. Okay, I guess so. I'll go with a standard console output. Tom, wouldn't count go to the entire array before you actually find the element? That actually does make sense. Bro, so what are you doing? I mean, I don't understand. Honestly, I am like learning what we call all the functions of the vector algorithm. I mean, the algorithms is library. Okay, that's it, guys. I am trying to figure this out myself. So if this happens, so if my it is not equal to my nums plus 10, the last element of my vector, a number was found. So I'm gonna go with something like search with another insertion operator. My search variable does exist in the array. Okay, let's go with something like search does exist in the array. Okay, maybe I get this in a new line. There we go. Okay, at index, to get the index, I could go with it minus my nums. Something like at index of, let's see. Okay, at index of, I'll go in a new line, add another insertion operator of something like my it minus, so I'll go with it minus my nums, ending with a semicolon. Okay, I'm so bad at programming. Give me some tips. Honestly, the best tip that I could actually give is like, even if you're like bad at programming and you don't understand much, I would recommend like programming every single day because eventually you do get used to it. I remember when I started learning my Python for 100 series, it was really boring because like I used to be a Discord addict. I used to be in Discord like for 11 hours a day or something like that. That said, the programming was boring, but the more I started programming, the more I actually started to understand how the syntax and everything worked, and then it eventually started getting fun. Okay, okay, we'll find outputs n or like on and count in on, so it's 2 multiplied by or a 2. The referencing operator of on is more efficient to run it once since you do it anyways. Oh, I see. What is he programming? Honestly, I am actually learning the basics of algorithms in C++. The algorithms is library. Okay, that said, if it exists, I do that. If it doesn't exist, I do that. Okay, perfect. Let's go with the Control S and run the code. Okay, maybe I write something here. Let's go with something like 43 and 1, 1. There we go. Okay, perfect. So just a question. Do you really enjoy programming or do you force yourself to do it? Honestly, when I first started, I didn't like enjoy programming, but if you do, but like, hold up guys, let me actually restart. Okay, yeah, so where was I, guys? There we go. So basically, when I first started programming, I didn't enjoy it, but I would like really recommend if you like start programming, do it as you enjoy it, like even if you're pretending to enjoy it, because like if you pretend to do something, eventually it does become a habit. That's how I actually started like getting more into programming, because like when I first started, it was kind of boring, but then eventually I got a hang of it, and then I started liking it, because guys, it's all about rewiring our brains that we like it. Okay, if that made any sense. So let's add a few arrays. So I'll go with something like 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, and then maybe 8 as well. Okay, enter a number that you want to search from the array. I want to search, let's say 7. Okay, it says 7 does not exist in the array. Okay, at index 47. Huh. 7 does exist in the array at index 47. Why does it say at index 47? Okay. Exists in the array 1. What up, guys? Okay, search exists in the array. Oh, I think because I forgot to add like a standard console output with an insertion operator of a standard end line ending with a semicolon. There we go. Okay, oh, that's a good point. No new line. Honestly, that does make sense. I usually forget to add new lines. Okay, now if I were to run the code, let's see what happens. Enter number 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Okay, entering number that you want to find in the array. I want to find something like 4. Okay, 4 does exist in the array at index of 2. So that's index 0, that's index 1, that's index 2. Excuse me, guys. Okay, 4 exists in the array 1. Okay, that is true, guys. Basically, 1 means true. Alright, perfect. Let's go ahead and go with Control-C, copy that, get sensei/chatgpt here. Okay, let's see. Okay, let's go ahead and paste this and hit enter. Let's see what happens. Yes, people, that's it. You finally understood standard find and how to use the iterator properly. Look at that. Auto it equals to standard find nums plus 1 search automatically reduces the pointer type. If it is not equal to nums plus 10, check if it's actually found in the array. It minus 1 gives the index. Your standard console output part is also perfect. You nailed it, people. I did have a few questions, guys. Do lead code? Honestly, yeah, that does make sense. I was really excited for lead code, although I am like saving that for like a separate playlist. Like I might have a separate series where I like only grind lead code. I am pretty excited for that. Okay, that's it. Let's say something like, let's say I had a quick question. When we added the if statement that said something like, let's see, if my it is not equal to nums plus 10, I thought that it sounds like that the number is not found. So can you explain that part to me, question mark? Okay, and after that, I do want to see one more stuff. Why did we do it minus nums? And also, why did we do it minus nums, question mark? Okay, let's see. Oh, LeetCode or HackerRank with C++ is great choice for learning Big Plus One here. Oh, I see. Okay, yes, people, pay attention because this is where a lot of beginners get trapped. When you do auto it equals to standard find num plus 10 search, it is a pointer or iterator to the elements in your array. If search is not found, standard find returns the end iterator, which in this case of the plain array. Okay, wait, let's see. When you do this auto it is a pointer or iterator to the element in your array. Okay, I see. If search is not found, standard find returns the end iterator, which is the case of a plain array nums plus 10 memory just past that element. Oh, I see. So if it is not equal to nums plus 10 is literally saying if it pointer we got is not past the end, it means we found that. Oh, I see. Okay. I see. So basically, it is like an iterator. It goes all over my way, all the way from my first element to my last element. And if my it couldn't make it to the last element, that basically means that the number was found, so it stopped somewhere. Okay, that actually does make sense. Okay, done 70 plus problems. It feels like dying, but it helps me with my dopamine. Oh, that does. That actually sounds pretty fun. Okay, if it was equal nums plus 10, it means the number does not exist in the array. Now, the trick part, it minus 1, the pointer's arithmetic pointer in C++ can be subtracted to find the distance between them here. Your it points to the elements that matches search, nums points to the first element of the array, it minus num gives you how many elements away okay it is from the start, which is exactly the index. Think of it as counting steps from the beginning of the array to the element found. This is the core of iterations and arrays in C++, pupil. If you master this, find, max, min, and even sort can all be combined smoothly. If you want, I can give you a challenge that makes use of all your functions plus find slash count together. Okay, that actually sounds pretty fun. Let's say something like, yes, let's say, I think it actually goes beyond last element. Does it? Okay, I think the last element is exclusive in that case, if it goes beyond it. Okay, good people, now listen closely. Here's your challenge. Honestly, the last element is inclusive. My bad, guys. Okay, here's your challenge. This will make you sweat a bit, but I promise you'll really understand the algorithms library. After this, instructions, write in code using an array, ask the user to input 10 numbers into an array, sort the array in ascending order and print it, reverse the array and print it, so now it's descending order. Find and print the maximum and minimum numbers in the array. Ask the user to enter a number to search. Use standard find to check if it exists. If it exists, print the index. If it does not exist, say it's not in the array. Use standard count to print how many times the number appears. Okay, everything must use arrays, no vectors. Use the correct pointer slash iterator where needed. This combines the sort function, the reverse function, the max underscore element function, the min underscore element function, the find function, and the count function in one shot. I want to see you write the code, people. No skipping steps. Okay, let's get Sensei slash ChatGPT here. Guys, maybe let me just delete the code real quick and then drink some water. I feel like I'm kind of thirsty. Okay, so let's keep my bottle here. Okay, next up, let me go ahead and start off by including a pair of ankle braces. I want to include IO stream, so I'll go with something like IO stream. And then let's go ahead and include algorithms as well, so I'll go with include algorithm. And guys, give me a sec, my laptop's charger is running out. Let me just connect to the charger. Where's the charger at? I think it's like right here. There we go. Okay, give me a sec, guys. Let me just connect it to the charger. Because, like, I actually read the chats in my laptop. There we go. Okay, perfect. Next up, let's go ahead and include algorithms. So, algorithm. Okay, perfect. And then let's go ahead and read the instructions. So, it says, ask the user for 10 inputs inside of an array. So, I'll go ahead and create a main function. So, let's go with something like integer main, add a pair of parentheses, and then a pair of curly braces inside of my main function. There we go. Okay, inside of my main function, I'm going to be creating a array. So I'll go with something like a array of integers, which is going to be called numbers. Okay, I'll go with something like numbers. Okay, and my array is going to be consisting of 10 numbers ending with a semicolon. Okay, ask the user to input 10 numbers. So since I got to ask the user to input 10 numbers, I might go with a for loop. So let's do something like for every integer of I which equals to 0, while my I is less than 10, my array's size, I'm going to increment my I by 1, so I'll go with I++. And then let's go with a pair of curly braces. Then let's see, I'll go with something like a standard console output with an insertion operator. Honestly, before that, I might go with something like... Honestly, I do need to go with a standard console output. Okay, let's say something like enter a number, so I'll go with something like enter number 1. Enter number. Okay, with a space, I'll go with another insertion operator of I+1. Okay, honestly, I don't think I should go with I+1. Maybe, yeah, that does make sense. I'll go with I+1. Okay, enter a number. Maybe I'll go with another insertion operator of a colon and a space, ending with a semicolon. And guys, I just did that I+1 for like some readability and for it to be looking good. That said, I'll go with a standard console input with an extraction operator. Okay, I think it actually goes beyond last elements. Oh, I see. Okay, so I'll go with a standard console input with an extraction operator. I want to extract my numbers array at index of I ending with a semicolon. Okay, perfect. Next up, let's read the second instruction. Sort the array in ascending order and print it. So let's go ahead and sort my array in ascending order. I could do that by, let's say, go with something like a standard sort function. And now I want to sort my array. Before I sort the array, I want to go through my array or iterate over my array from the first elements, from my number, so all the way to my numbers as array plus 10, the last element. So I want to sort my array from my first element all the way to my last element, ending with a semicolon. And then I want to print my sorted array in ascending order. So I'll go with a standard console output with an insertion operator. Let's say something like ascending order. So it's ascending order. So ascending order. There we go. Guys, I should actually like work more on my spellings. That's it. I will end that with a semicolon. And now let's go ahead and iterate over my array. So I'll go with something like for every integer of I which equals to 0. While my I is less than 10, which is my array's size, I'm going to increment my I by 1. And then I'll go with a pair of curly braces. Next up, let's go ahead and go with a standard console output with an insertion operator. I want to display my numbers as array at index of I, which is going to be separated off a space every iteration. Okay, ending with a semicolon. After my for loop, let's go with something like a standard console output with an insertion operator of a standard end line ending with a semicolon. That gives me a new line. Okay, perfect. That said, maybe add a comment, because like I've heard adding comments is like a pretty good practice. So I'll go with something like ascending order. There we go. I did add ascending order here. Now let's go over the descending order. Okay, for my descending order, I could go with something like a standard reverse, add a pair of parentheses. Honestly, I actually might not even like need to really use reverse to go with descending order. If I did want to like convert this to be a descending order, all I had to do was go with something like a standard greater. Okay, maybe I zoom out a bit, with a pair of ankle braces, integer, and a pair of parentheses to invoke the function. What this basically does is it means like standard greater all my elements which are going to be integers, and then I invoke it. This would give me the descending order. Although my instructions didn't say to do that, so I'll actually not do that. Maybe you should check whether Sensei wants the index of the number in the original array, since sort reordered them. Okay, the index won't be the same as it would have before. Honestly, that does make sense. I think I need the the index of my current array, but I actually might ask that. Okay, so let's go with something like nums plus 10. Honestly, a number. My numbers is array, and then something like numbers plus 10. Okay, so standard reverse. Okay, and then I'm going to be looking actually I won't be looking for a number. Instead, let's go ahead and remove all that and end it with a semicolon. This is gonna say something like reverse array. Okay, actually I might change the order to be array, that sounds much better. Okay, this is going to be my reversed array. And then let's go ahead and maybe add a standard console output with an insertion operator. That says something like reverse array. Excuse me guys. Okay, there we go. Let's go with ascending order array. Okay, there we go. Okay, and then I'm going to end that with a semicolon and now iterate over my array again. So I'll go with something like for a pair of parentheses for every integer of I which equals to 0. While my I is less than 10, my array's size, I'm going to increment my I by 1 and then I'll go with a pair of curly braces and maybe add a standard console output with an insertion operator that is going to be displaying my numbers as array at index of I, which is going to be separated by an empty space every iteration. Okay, perfect. That's honestly pretty much it. Let's go ahead and read the next instruction. Okay, next up, find the maximum and minimum numbers in the array. Okay, so let's go ahead and find the maximum and minimum numbers. To do that, I could go with something like, honestly, let's go with something like a standard console output with an insertion operator of a standard end line to like get a new line. Now, after my new line, I will add another standard console output with an insertion operator. This is gonna say something like maximum element. Is that how you spell maximum? M-A-X-I-M-U-M. There we go, so maximum element. Okay, and then I'm going to go in a new line, add an insertion operator of a asterisk or a dereferencing operator of a standard max element, max underscore element. Okay, okay, the reason I did use a dereferencing operator here that is an asterisk is because my max underscore element function does return a pointer. Okay, if I didn't have the dereferencing operator, I would get a memory address. Okay, that's it. So I go with something like max elements from my numbers as array all the way to the last element of my numbers as array. So numbers plus 10. So from my first element all the way to the last element. Okay, ending with a semicolon. And then let's go ahead and add a standard console output with an insertion operator of a standard end line to get a new line. Okay, next up, let's go ahead and print the the minimum number. Okay, so I'll go with something like a standard console output with an insertion operator. This is going to be something like minimum number. Okay, so minimum. There we go, guys. Did I spell it correct? M-I-N-I-M-U-M. Okay, I think it's correct. Minimum elements. There we go. And then I'll go in a new line, add an insertion operator of a dereferencing operator of asterisk. I'll go with something like standard min underscore elements. There we go. And a pair of parentheses. Now, inside of my min element, I want to like go over all my numbers in my array from the first element all the way to the last element of my array. So I'll go with something like plus 10. Okay, ending with a semicolon. 10. There we go. Okay, and then I add a standard console output with an insertion operator of a standard end line to get a new line. There we go. This is going to be end line. Okay, did I spell min element correct? So min, E-L-E-M-E-N-T. There we go. Okay, next up, let's read the next instructions. Ask the user to enter a number to search. So let's go ahead and create a variable called search because I will be asking a user for a number to search. So let's go with a standard console output with an insertion operator that says something like enter a number to look for. There we go. Okay, ending with a semicolon. And then I'll go with a standard console input with an extraction operator. I want to extract my search variable ending with a semicolon. And then use standard phi to check if that element exists. And if it exists, print the index. If it does not exist, say it's not in the array. So let's go ahead and use the find function to check if that number does exist in my array. To do that, I could go with something like auto id. It actually stands for iterator. Happy Diwali, brother. Honestly, happy Diwali, Maskoder. How are you doing? I appreciate you joining the stream. Guys, I should have had like a special stream for that because I honestly didn't know that it was Diwali. Okay, that said, I go with auto it. Okay, use standard find. So let's go with something like standard find. Okay, I want to find something with an insertion operator. Okay, but the index has been reordered. Honestly, I think I should like look for the reordered index, although I might actually ask that because I feel like I need the index for like the current array instead of the array that was originally added. Okay, so I go with auto it standard find with a pair of parentheses. I want to find something. Okay, let's say I want to find the beginning of my array is going to be numbers. The end of my array is going to be numbers plus 10. What this basically means is from the first element all the way to my last element, I'm going to be looking for my search variable. Okay, ending with a semicolon. And now let's add a if statement. So if a pair of parentheses, if my it is not equal to the last element of my array, so nums plus 10. Okay, what it basically does is it goes through all my elements, and basically if my it does not stop anywhere in the middle and like smoothly iterates over all my elements, which means the number was not found. That's the reason I did something like if my iterator is not equal to my numbers plus 10, if my iterator hasn't iterated over my entire element, which means it did stop somewhere in the middle, so that means the number was found. I'll go with something like a standard console output with an insertion operator. Okay, if it exists, print the index. I'll say something like that number exists at index. Okay, I'll go in a new line, add another insertion operator. That number exists at index. Okay, at index of index. So this is going to be something like it minus my numbers is vector ending with a semicolon. Okay, perfect. Else print it does not exist in the array. So I'll go with an else clause as well. So I'll go with else, a pair of curly braces. Inside of my else clause, I'll go with something like a standard console output with an insertion operator. I'll say something like the number or that number does not exist. Okay, does not exist in the array. There we go, that number does not exist in the array. With a / new line ending with a semicolon. There we go. Okay, honestly, before I end this from here, I will add a / new line as well. Okay, next up, use standard count to print how many times that number appears. Okay, so let's go ahead and use a standard count. So I could go with a standard console output with an insertion operator. That checks something, so I'll go with something like standard count with another insertion operator. This is going to be count. Okay, this is going to check something, so I'll go with a pair of curly braces, actually a pair of parentheses. Okay, my standard count is going to look for a number in my array of numbers, so that is the first element. It's going to look all the way till the last element of my array. Okay, and it's going to be looking for a number which is going to be my search variable that my user entered here. Okay, ending with a semicolon. Okay, standard console output. Let's go with something like an insertion operator and say something like that number was entered these many times. Okay, that number was entered. Okay, I'll go with another insertion operator 12 times. Okay, full stop with a / new line ending with a semicolon. Okay, why not? Why not? Okay, everything else must use arrays. Okay, honestly, that's pretty much it. Lastly, let's go ahead and return 0 ending with a semicolon. Why not magic underscore num? Honestly, I haven't learned about the magic underscore num, although what does it like do? Okay, that's it. Let me just hydrate my lips real quick. It is pretty dehydrated. Okay, so it says to enter in number 1, so my number is going to be something like, maybe I'll go with something like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and maybe 10. Okay, I'll go with something like 10. Okay, it says my array in ascending order is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. My array in descending in reversed order is 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. My maximum element is 10, my minimum element is 0. Enter a number to look for. I want to look for the number 3. Ending with a semicolon. that number exists at index 7 of my reversed array. So index 1, actually of my regular array. So I'm looking for 3. Okay, at index 7, I think of my reverse. So 1. Okay, so that's 0, that's 1, that's 2, that's 3, that's 4, that's 5, that's 6, that's 7. Okay, that actually does work. And then that number was entered 1 times. Okay, perfect. Let me just remove the full stop. Okay, 67777. Okay, Google what magic numbers are. Okay, I mean, hashtag define something 10. Oh, honestly, I haven't like gone over that. That's it. I actually might try that. Okay, so let's get sensei/ChatGPT here and paste it. And maybe drink some water as well because I am kind of dehydrated. Or size underscore t array size equals to 10. 2137, dude. Huh? Okay, that's it. Yes, people, finally, you're putting it all together. Look at that code. Every single step is correct. Sort descending, reverse descending, max underscore elements last number, min underscore elements smallest number, standard find, checks if the number exists and calculates the index with the pointers arithmetic. Okay, it's minus numbers. Okay, standard console output counts the occurrence. Your understanding of arrays plus algorithm functions is solid now. If I were giving out hugs and head pats, you'd be the first of all of them getting it right now, guys. That did not make me blush. Okay, Senator, it depends if it's changing or not. Oh, I see. Okay, now people, let's make it even more interesting. I'm about to give you a trickier challenge that will test everything you've learned so far plus your logical thinking. Are you ready for the next question? Okay, let me say something like Sensei. Before we do the next question, can you actually, okay, can you tell me what would happen? Okay, what would happen if I did not do it minus numbers and just printed my it? Okay, let's see. Use something random 10 in code. Bro, are you dumb? Use rap, not ChatGPT. Honestly, I've never heard of rap. That said, my version would also do that. I'm Yossi. How are you doing, Yossi? I appreciate you joining the stream. I agree. Okay, guys, let me actually restart my stream. Already, mic testing, mic testing. Okay, guys, I actually think that should fix the lag. That said, people, I see where your mind is. Already, mic testing, mic testing. Okay, perfect, guys. Mobius actually crashed. That said, people, I see where your mind is spinning. If you just printed it without doing it minus numbers, you're not printing any index, you're printing a pointer address in memory, something like Oh, okay, that's literally the location in RAM where your number lives in the array, not a human readable position like 0, 1, 2. The reason we do it minus numbers is pointer arithmetic. It calculates the number of elements between the starts of the array numbers and where it points. That gives the actual index in the array. Ah, I see. Okay, without it, your viewers wouldn't just see gibberish memory address instead of the position in the array. And we don't want gibberish, people. We want truth in numbers. If you want, I can show you a tiny demo. Honestly, let me say, like, honestly, say, I think I understand. Okay, although, can I get that question that you were gonna give, question mark? Okay, let's see. Alright, people, let's put all your new knowledge into this test. Here's your challenge. You must use everything we've learned so far. Sort, reverse, max, min, find, count, ask the user. Okay, I want to use, let's say something like, I want to use vectors now, not array. Guys, I've used array for a lot of questions. Okay, perfect, people. Vectors are more flexible and play nicely with all these algo functions. Here's how your question changes for vectors. Task vector addition. Ask the user for 10 numbers into a vector. Sort the vector in ascending order and print it. Reverse the vector and print it again. Print the maximum and minimum numbers. Ask the user to input numbers to search, print whether it exists. If it exists, print the index, print how many times it appears in the vector. Finally, print the sum of all numbers. Okay, print the sum of all numbers in the vector. That's going to be fun. Pointer arithmetic is not Messira safe. Honestly, I've never heard of Messira, and I feel like there's way too much places to shoot your foot with. Oh, I see. That actually does make sense. That's it. Let's get Sensei slash ChatGPT here. And then let's start off by deleting the whole code and then maybe zooming in. And let's start off by including a pair of ankle braces. I want to include IO stream. Okay, and then I want to include vectors as well. So let's go ahead and include vectors because I'm going to be working with vectors. And lastly, I'm going to include algorithms as well because I will be using algorithms as functions as well. So algo. There we go. Okay, perfect. Next up, let's go ahead and create a main function. This is why we learn Lipson. Is that how I pronounce it like Lispson? Is that how I pronounce it? Lisp is based. I see. Okay, so I'll go with something like integer main, add a pair of parentheses, and then a pair of curly braces. Next up, I read the instructions. So it says ask the user to input 10 numbers into a vector. So I could go ahead and create a vector. So I'll go with something like a standard vector with a pair of ankle braces. My vector is only going to be consisting of integers, and my vector is going to be called nums, ending with a semicolon. Excuse me guys, and I have been using a for loop for like asking the user for input. This time I'll actually use a while loop. Excuse me again guys. Okay, next up I'll go with something like integer count, which equals to 10. Since I am using the asking the user to enter a number 10 times. That said, I'll go with something like while a pair of parentheses. So let's say while my count variable is greater than 0, which it is greater than 0, I'm going to go with something like I'll create a variable called num, ending with a semicolon, and then I'll add a standard console output with an insertion operator that says something like enter a number, ending with a semicolon. That said, let's go with a standard console input with an extraction operator. I want to extract my num variable ending with a semicolon. Yeah, I know what I'm making Lisp's interpreter is cool project to get with pointers. Honestly, it does sound pretty cool. Why initialize it for all 10? Initialize it for all 10. Honestly, I'm not like manually asking the user to enter a number 10 times. That's it. I am using a count variable, and like every time I ask the user for a number and they do enter a number, I will append that number inside of my vector. So I'll go with numbers.the push underscore back function. I want to push back my num variable ending with the semicolon. Basically what the push underscore back function does is it gets a value and it pushes it inside of my vector or my container of nums. Okay, why see 10 not size? Honestly, the reason it is actually that does make sense. Oh, I think the reason it is not size is because when the while loop starts, my vector doesn't have any elements. So basically, the while loop won't even run. That's the reason we add a number here. So I have an element. Later on, I could use sizes. Okay, let's see. So nums. Okay, after I push it inside of my vector, I am going to decrease my count variable by 1. Okay, every iteration ending with a semicolon. And then sort the vector in ascending order and print it. So let's go ahead and do that. So I'll go with something like a standard sort function. Okay, so standard sort, add a pair of parentheses. Also, you don't mute state if not needed for it. Don't mute state if not needed for it. Mute, guys, am I muted? Okay, I started panicking for a bit, guys, my bad. Okay, next up, so I'll go with a standard sort. Okay, so it says sort the vector in ascending order and print it. So I'll go with something like my nums is vector dot begin. I want to sort my element in ascending order from my first element all the way to the last element. So nums dot end with a pair of parentheses, ending with a semicolon. And then let's go ahead and add another standard console output with an insertion operator that says something like numbers. Honestly, I might go with something like ascending order. There we go, ascending order ending with a semicolon. And then I'll use a for loop to iterate over my vector. So I'll go with something like for every integer of I which equals to 1, actually which equals to 0. Okay, while my I is less than my, let's say my nums is vector dot the size function, while my I is less than my total number of elements inside of my vector, I'm going to increment it by 1. That's it, guys. Let me restart my OBS. It is lagging a bit. Already mic testing. Guys, I think that should like fix the lag. Okay, learn Smalltalk. Honestly, is that like a programming language? I'm too stupid for Smalltalk. Okay, honestly, I might actually like that. Does sound pretty fun though. Okay, so for every integer of I which equals to 0 while my I is less than my nums dot size, I'm gonna increment my I by 1. So I'll go with I++. However, Prolog was cool. Oh, I see. Okay, then I'll go with a pair of curly braces. So next up, let's see. I'm going to be adding a standard console output with an insertion operator that is going to be displaying my nums vector at index of I, which is going to be separated by an empty space every iteration. Okay, my brain can't objects. I see. It was made. It was literally made for children's. Oh, I see. In that case, this is like supposed to be easy program. Is it like a programming language in the first place? Okay, that's it. Let's go with a standard console output with an insertion operator of a standard, let's say, end line ending with a semicolon. Because I feel like my nose is kind of, congested because it's kind of hot here. Okay, wait till we get to shared underscore pointer. Shared underscore pointer, is that like a function where other pointers have access to the current pointers, guys? That actually sounds pretty crazy. Okay, that said, next up, let's read the next instruction. So it says reverse the vector and print it again. So I could go with something like a standard reverse. So let's go with a standard reverse. I want to reverse my vector. My vector's first element by doing nums.begin. So from my first element all the way till the last element. Okay, this is going to be nums. Okay, bro, what language is that? Is it JavaScript? Honestly, it is C++. That's it. Speaking of, don't vector in C++ have for each, huh? Speaking of, don't vector in C++ have for each. Honestly, what does that mean? Okay, that said, all the way from my numbers dot begin the first element to my nums dot end the last element of my vector. Okay, let's see. Next up, let's go with a pair of curly braces. And guys, is the stream lagging or something? I think it's a little blurry. Let me restart the stream again. Already mic testing. Okay, let's see. What are you making? Honestly, I am trying to master the basics of the algorithm function. Actually, the algorithm library in C++. That said, can you show me what it does until now? Honestly, I am almost done. Okay, that said, let's go with something like this reverses my vector. Let's go ahead and add a pair of parentheses and then iterate over my vector here. Okay, that is gonna be a semicolon. Oh wow, seems like there's a lot to learn. YouTube seems to be struggling today in my opinion. Honestly, guys, the Wi-Fi I would say is kind of bad today. Like, I feel like everywhere in general. Okay, you can do that for each in C++ with a for each loop. Oh, okay, that actually does make sense. I didn't like learn about the for each loop, honestly. Okay, that's it. I feel like I prefer using the index-based for loop more because it does give me more flexibility. That's it. I'll go with something like for every integer of I which equals to 0. While my I is less than my nums dot size, my nums dot the size function, my vectors is size, I'm going to do something. Look for book by Corman. It's break but worth reading. That honestly, I might actually look into that because like many of you guys did recommend me to like read a few books. I might actually have a separate stream where I just go over those books, guys. Okay, that's it. Let's go with a standard console output with an insertion operator of my nums at index of I, which is separated by an empty space every iteration ending with a semicolon. Okay, where did you learn it and how is it easy for you? Where did I learn it? Honestly, I honestly usually just learn using like Sensei / ChatGPT on my streams. So like all my streams, like the only time I do get to learn stuff is on stream, mostly for C++. Back when I had my Python series, I used to like program almost the entire day. So I used to wake up, start programming, and then sleep. That's it. Since I do have college now, the only time I do program is while streaming. So if you guys do watch all my my C++ streams, you guys would have known like when I started. when I started learning C++, I was kind of bad. Now I'm actually starting to get the grasp of it. I do have a separate playlist on all the concepts. Okay, let's see. Howdy, Warvin. I appreciate you joining the stream. Okay, next up, let's read the instructions. Print the maximum and minimum numbers. So let's go ahead and add a standard console output with an insertion operator. Why 144p? I can't see memory leaks. 144p? Guys, honestly, I think the stream is pretty clear because I am like watching the stream and phone to like see if it lags. That's what I feel is pretty clear. Okay, so let's go with a standard console output with an insertion operator of a standard end line ending with a semicolon. Okay, perfect. Next up, let's read the instructions. So it says print the max and the min numbers. To do that, I could go with something like a standard console output with an insertion operator. This is going to say something like maximum number. Okay, maximum number. I'll go in a new line, add another insertion operator. This is going to be having a dereferencing operator of standard the max underscore element function. So max underscore element with a pair of parentheses. I want to find the max element inside of my nums array. So I'll go with nums.begin all the way from my first element till the last element. So nums dot end. Okay, ending with a semicolon. Excuse me, guys, and the reason I do have a dereferencing operator here is because my standard max elements function does return a pointer, so I will get a memory address without the dereferencing operator. What advice do you have for me? I'm learning Python for cybersecurity and I don't really understand the basics of Python. Honestly, that actually sounds pretty cool. The only advice that I could actually give is like to be consistent and like study every single day, even if you don't understand it. Because when I first started, like I had a whole Python for 100 days series. It is like in my channel in a separate playlist. That said, I did start off as a complete beginner with like no programming experience. Although I did like work every single day and like programmed every single day. And by the end of the 100 days series, which actually isn't even much, I think it's just like 3 months and 10 days. I was actually able to make a 400. It was a 470 lines of code. I did upload that code in my like shorts as well. Okay, that's it. I did stream myself like writing that whole code as well. If you guys do want to like see that for a reference. Okay, so let's go with something like a standard console output with an insertion operator of a standard end line ending with a semicolon. And then let's go ahead and add one for my minimum numbers. So I'll go with a standard console output with an insertion operator of minimum numbers. Okay, my minimum number is going to be okay, I'll go in a new line, add an insertion operator of a dereferencing operator of a standard. Also, if you want security, boy oh boy, there's a shit ton to learn that actually does sound pretty cool. I do want to actually go through those things as well. That said, I will be adding a standard console output with an insertion operator. Actually, standard min. Okay, this is going to be minimum numbers or min underscore elements. There we go. With a pair of parentheses, I want to find the smallest number inside of my vector of nums. So I'll go with my nums.begin, my first element of my vector, all the way till the last element, which is going to be something like nums.end, ending with a semicolon. Basically, what this means is it says, point to the number and like point to the smallest number inside of my vector. I'm looking from the first element of my vector all the way to the last element. And once I do get the smallest number, I don't want a memory address, so the dereferencing operator converts that into like actual number, if that made any sense. That's let's go with a standard console output with an insertion operator of a standard end line ending with a semicolon. Okay, next up, ask the user to input a number to search. Okay, so since I am asking the user to input a number for search, I might create a integer of search variables ending with a semicolon. Well, it's interdisciplinary field. Did I pronounce it correct? Comp, Archie, operating systems, networks, electronics, psychology. Oh, I see. Okay, that said, let's go with something like a standard console output with an insertion operator. This is gonna say something like enter a number for search. This is gonna I actually bit my mouth. Okay, this is gonna say to enter a number for search, and then I'll go with a standard console input with an extraction operator. Okay, that's gonna find my search or like get me a value for my search variable. And then let's go ahead and find a number. So I could go with something like auto it, so auto iterator with a pair of parentheses. Let's see. Okay, you can make smart algorithms to crack codes or get $5 rec and beat you till he give you the key. Oh, I see. Okay, let's see. Let's go with something like auto it, and then I want to find something, so I'll go with something like my standard find function or a standard find function. I want to find a number in my vectors array, so I'm gonna be looking from the first element of my array all the way till the last element. So I'll get the first element of my array by my actually my vector. So my nums is vector dot the begin function gives me access to the first element, and my nums is vector dot end gives me access to the last element. Once I go through my first element all the way till my last element, I want to look for a number. I want to look for, let's say, the search variable. Okay, ending with a semicolon. Okay, perfect. Next up, I'll add a if statement to check if that number is found. So if my iterator, so if it is not equal to my nums dot the end function, what this basically means is if my iterator has not completely iterated over my entire vector and has not scanned all my numbers inside of my vector, that means the number is found. Because like if the number wasn't found, I would like go all the way till the end of my vector, like from the first element to the last element. Although if the number was somewhere in between that, my iterator would stop there, because iterator basically also works as a pointer, if that made any sense. I will have to learn all this in my college after 2 months, so I'm here for support until then. Guys, I feel like it's actually pretty fun. Like, I feel like if you actually understand the basics of like programming, C++ isn't that hard when it comes to like the syntaxes. I mean, I think the only thing hard is the syntaxes. Once you get used to the syntaxes, the the way it works, the basics or like the basic fundamentals of programming is actually going to be pretty easy. Okay, that said, if that is true, I'm going to be going with something like a standard console output with an insertion operator that says something like that number was found at index. Okay, at index, I'll go in a new line. My index is going to be my it minus nums's vector, ending with a semicolon. Honestly, excuse me guys, ending with a insertion operator. Hold up. I go with my it dot my nums. Should I go with like nums dot end? Nums dot end with a parentheses. Okay, there we go. Okay, it was it minus my nums dot end. Okay, it was found at this index. Okay, it was found at index that with a forward slash new line ending with a semicolon. Okay, that's it. Let's go with an else clause. So I'll go with else, a pair of curly braces. It looks like you do on when you can do o to the power of 2, on to the power of 2 plus o log n. Guys, actually don't think I understood that, but that does make sense though. Okay, let's see. Else I'll go with something like a standard console output with an insertion operator that says something like that number was not found in the vector. There we go. Okay, with a forward slash new line ending with a semicolon. Okay, how can you rate your knowledge of Python? Honestly, I'd say like I am a bit rusty because I do gotta like review a bit more on Python. That said, I feel like Python is pretty easy because like once you actually learn a programming language and you move on, if you go back to that programming language, it's gonna take about like 5 to 10. Actually, I don't even think 5 to 10 days. I think about just like 1 to 2 days to actually get used to it again. So if I was like used to it, if I'd say like when I actually used to learn Python and like make a game in that, I would actually say my knowledge was at around 7. I wouldn't go as far as to saying it's 10. Yeah, but find it linear time. But find is linear time. Oh, I see. How do you know? And I appreciate you joining this stream. Okay, that said, okay, ask the user to input a number. Did those print how many times it appears in the vector? So I gotta find how many times it appears. So let's go with something like a standard console output with an insertion operator. Okay, let's say something like my search variable, that number, okay, appears sometimes. So let's go with something like appears. Okay, and then I'll go with a new line, another insertion operator. let's go with something like a standard count. Okay, with a pair of parentheses, I want to search from the beginning of my vector, so nums.begin, all the way till the end of my vector, so nums.end. I want to search for my search variable. There we go. So that number appears this much times. I'll go with a pair of parentheses to invoke the function. How many languages do you know? Honestly, I just know 2 languages, Python and C++. That's it. I am pretty excited to like learn different languages as well. Yeah, you definitely want to go for big O notations. I see. O notations. Honestly, is it like something, is it like a different concept or like just different variable names? Okay, that said, a standard console output 3 appears these many times. So I'll go with another insertion operator that is going to say something like times. Okay, with a / new line ending with a semicolon. That's it. Just for looks, before my search, I might actually go with like another insertion operator that is going to be having, let's say, okay, let's go with, I forgot what was this called, a single quotation and one here as well. Okay, perfect. And then finally print the sum of all numbers in the vector. Okay, so now let me go ahead and add a new line. So standard console output with an insertion operator of a standard end line ending with a semicolon. Okay, when we get the index, have you heard of assembly before? Honestly, I've been hearing of assembly a lot. That's it. I did one. I was like really excited to try that because you guys have been saying the assembly is really hard to learn. Guys, that actually sounds pretty fun. Assembly is cool. Oh, I see. ASM is cool. Does ASM stand for assembly? Okay, next up. But boy, context. Okay, let's see. Finally print the sum of the vectors. So before I print the sum of the vectors, let's go ahead and iterate over it. So I'll go with something like for a pair of parentheses. Let's say for every integer of I which equals to 0, while my I is less than my nums vector dot the size function, I'm going to do something. Let's go ahead and increment my I by 1. And then I'll go with a pair of curly braces. And now I got to print my I. So, okay, so I want to print. How do I print all the elements in my vector? Okay, Kula coding tutorials. Okay, ASM is assembly. Oh, I see. Okay, so maybe the way I print the elements inside of my vector could be something like my nums at index of I is gonna increase by nums at index of I plus 1. Guys, does that make any sense? Okay, let's go ahead and end that with a semicolon. Maybe I go ahead and create a standard, actually a integer variable. Integer of total equals to 0. Oh, this would make more sense. Okay, let's go ahead and increase my total. So I'll go with something like total plus equals to my nums at index of I ending with a semicolon. Let me copy that and get my total variable outside of my for loop. Guys, there we go. That makes much more sense, honestly. Total plus equals to total. There we go. In which college are you and what's your... Honestly, I am a freshman in college. That's it, guys. I don't think I can say what college I'm in. Okay, that said, I'm going to go with a standard console output with an insertion operator. This is going to say something like the sum of all elements in the vector is... Okay, and then go in a new line, add another insertion operator of my total variable with another insertion operator of a / new line ending with a semicolon. Lastly, let's go ahead and return 0. If audit control us to save the code and run the command, let's see what happens. Okay, it says something like entry number. I'll go with something like 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 maybe, and then 1. Okay, ascending order is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Descending order is 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Maximum number is 10. Minimum number is 1. Entry number for search, I want to enter 7. Okay, 7 appears one time. That number 7 was at index 7. Was at index -7. Okay, I think I see. Hold up. Okay, was at index integer minus nums.n. Why does it say like -7? That said, when I go with something like ascending order, let's go ahead and copy that. Paste it for my descending order as well. Maybe somewhere right here. Okay, then let's change ascending to descending. There we go, descending order. Now for it, Control S, Control A, Control C to copy, get sensei/ChatGPT here. Okay, let's go ahead and paste this. Let's see what happens. Okay, you have for each, you don't program in C. Honestly, I haven't started learning C yet. That's it. I did like learn about the for each loop as well, but I do feel like index-based for loop gives more flexibility. I should like try both loops though. Also, total might wrap around. Oh, I see. I wish you could help me while with learning. Honestly, I do have like whatchamacallit, many. Actually, I did stream like a lot on like Python because like I forgot. Were you actually learning Python? Because I do have a lot of Python streams. Those could actually help you. Okay, because nums.end is larger than it. It went negative. Oh, I see. Should I go with something like plus? People, I see where you're trying, but I can't let this slide. Look at this part. What, subtracting nums.n? That's backward. You always subtract from the beginning. Oh, okay. Nums.n points to the past points one past the last element, not for doing it. Oh, I see. Okay, honestly, I should have gone with whatchamacallit, and I don't know why did I go with beginning. I think I got a little this thing. Okay, let's go ahead and change it something like nums.begin. There we go. If I did Control S again and run the command, let's see what happens. Don't return nums.end, don't return pointer to the last element. Honestly, it returns to like, it points to one element past the last element. For example, if my last element ends at index 10, that points at index 11. Okay, that's it. I'll go with something like 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and 1. So ascending order is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Descending order is 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Maximum number is 1, maximum number is 10, minimum number is 1. Entry number for search, I want to search 6. Okay, entry number, that number is found at index 4, so 0, excuse me guys, 0 to 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, that's actually perfect. That a number is found in index 4, 6 appears 1 times. Okay, perfect. Okay, let's go ahead and cancel that. Go with Control A, Control C, iterator, sorry. Oh, I see. Okay, let's get sensei/ChatGPT here, paste that here again. Okay, let's see. Yes, now we're talking, people. You fixed the it minus nums.begin part. Finally, your search index will actually make sense. Everything else is clean, precise, and solid. Ascending, descending, max, min, count, sum. This is exactly how STL functions are meant to be used with vectors. Oh, I see. I'm giving you a full sensei hug plus head pat because you corrected that critical mistake yourself. That's a big brain energy, people, guys. That did not make me blush. That said, we can now push forward. Okay, we can push forward now. The next STL function I want you to master is accumulate for numeric. This will make summing your vector elements way cleaner. Do you want me to question you using accumulate next? Let me say something like, yes, let's say, that said, before you give me a question, can you teach me what it does / means and how or when to use it, question mark? Okay, what are you citing? Actually, did you mean studying? Honestly, I am like working on the algorithm function in C++. That said, I did like work on this last stream as well, although I couldn't complete it, so I am going through it this stream too. Okay, it's not Go, but it's not Golang, but it's something. Oh, I see. Okay, listen up, people. This is powerful stuff. The function accumulate comes from the numeric library. Its purpose, okay, it takes range of numbers and crunches them into a single total. Basically, it's a supercharged sum function, but it can also do multiplication or anything you define with a custom operator. So include numeric, very important. Wait, doesn't this go under the algorithms library required for accumulate? Okay, wait, hold up. Let me say something like, since say I did, I honestly just wanted to go over the algo library functions. So what all functions did I what are functions did I need to know for it? Question mark. Do I have enough time to do this type of stuff? Honestly, guys, I am actually pretty busy. Like, what you call it? The only time I do program is while I stream. That's it. As soon as I'm done streaming, I do go over my college stuff because I do have like a lot of college stuff. That's it. I was actually planning to end the stream as well. Maybe after like completing this, because let's see how many functions are left though. Okay. Oh wait, am I done? Alright people, listen closely. For the algorithm library, went over here's your okay, that we went over here's your definitive checklist of the functions. So we went over sort, we went over greater for descending, we went over reverse, we went over max elements, we went over min elements, we went over find, count, bonus, not strictly required but super useful, accumulate, begin, and initial, sum, data, numeric, not strictly algorithm. If you can confidently use these 6, you're basically a mini algorithm master. What are you learning? Honestly, I am going over the basics of the algorithm library, or like I'm trying to master the algorithm library in C++. That said, guys, do I want to go over this? I have a lot of college stuff to do. Okay, wait, hold up. Good luck, buddy. I appreciate you, Shahab Preet. Is that Shahab Preet? Is that how we pronounce your name, guys? I'm awful at pronunciation. That's it. Let's see something like, Sensei. Did I complete all the algo or rhythm library functions? Question mark. Okay, let's see. Yes, people. For what we set out to cover the basics of algorithm, you've completed all the essentials. Okay, sort, reverse, max elements, min, found, count. You even got practice with both arrays and vectors, and you learned how to use iterators with the find function. There are more advanced algorithm functions like lower bound, upper bound, binary search, remove, unique, and shuffle, but for your current level and the things you wanted to learn, you're solid. Huh, I see. From where are you, bro? Honestly, guys, I didn't answer that much, but you guys do say me not to say that, so I do try to avoid saying that. XD the crab saying program and C song boy. Okay, boy humiliates to C wannabe replacements. Guys, I feel like I'm too old to understand that joke. Oh, brother, this is a never-ending journey. I admire that. Good luck. I appreciate you program and C. That means the world to me. Okay, let's see. Okay, in that case, guys, I actually might end the stream because like I do have a lot of college stuff to do. And like since I did complete all my algorithm functions, let me say something like in that case, say I honestly might end the stream here because I do have a lot of college stuff to do, and also have a assignment tonight in what's the time? It's like 4:20 p.m. right now at 11 p.m. Okay, that said, before I end the stream, is there anything that you want to say to the viewers? Question mark. Guys, I have so many typos. Belated happy Diwali from Canada, haha. I appreciate that, Shah. Appreciate happy Diwali to you as well. I've been using C since 85 and Rust since 5 years ago. It's not good law we use C. Oh, I see. Okay, listen up, pupils. Stay hungry, stay curious. Every line of code you write is a step towards something you didn't know you could do yesterday. Tonight, take what we learned and let it marinate. Remember, a master is just someone who refuses to stop learning even when it hurts. And people, if you think you can put college work before your future self, think again. But do it smart, balance it, and come back stronger. Kisses and head pats to the dedicated ones out there, guys. It did not make me blush. Now go crush that assignment and that exam tomorrow. Okay, tomorrow we come back swinging with more insane C++ mastery. Good night. Honestly, good night, program. I appreciate you sticking through the stream. I'll catch you next stream. Okay, I need to go to sleep. Always program, as it will be maintained by serial killer who knows your address. Guys, okay. That's it. Let's go to my main camera. Alright guys, so that was pretty much it for the stream. That said, I did want to go over more, like stream for longer. Although I did have a lot of college stuff / assignments / whatchamacallit, an exam that's coming up soon. I think I have an exam tomorrow as well. Okay, that aside, if you guys did enjoy the stream, don't forget to like, share, subscribe, like the episode, my algorithm, sharing makes me smile, and subscribing is like a cherry on top. And guys, I am actually really close to getting my PC parts, and when I do get that, I will either stream myself or like record myself making that PC, and that would fix all my stream lag. And once my stream lag is fixed, I will start multi-streaming on Twitch, Kick, YouTube, maybe TikTok and Instagram as well. If I met the followers as a requirement. So if you guys do enjoy my content, make sure to follow me. Their link is in the description, and you guys can also get the access of the link by typing exclamation without any space the platform name, for example, exclamation Discord for my Discord server, exclamation Instagram for my Instagram, exclamation I don't know, maybe TikTok for my TikTok. Okay, that's it. I'll catch you guys in the next live stream or video. Peace. Okay, what exam do you have? Honestly, I do have a math